How are you, folks? Dave Brown here with the New Populist. Thank you again for joining me. So, it is 1 week post election, and we have Donald Trump down in Mar a Lago contemplating his cabinet picks. And this has caused quite a stir. A lot of people are very excited about this. There are a lot of rumors going around. And this has caused some positive reactions and some negative reactions. So I just want to go over this process, his cabinet picks, and just give people a realistic idea of what to expect. Because people have a lot of, I think, exaggerated expectations of what is going to happen. And when you do that, you get disappointed when things fall short. We saw that to some extent during his first term. He was battling the deep state. He was inexperienced. And while he did a lot of good things, he didn't quite do as much as some people wanted. And those people got upset. And some of them even turned on him and actually, openly attacked him. And that was not good for his administration. And I don't want to see the same thing happen this time around, although it's certainly possible because you can't control people outside your orbit. And if they want to turn on him, they will. So that's unfortunately a possibility. So the first thing I want people to do is calm down. Don't get overly excited. Ignore some of the rumors out there and ignore people out there who are self-promoters, who are always looking for attention, who say outlandish things. And one person who's doing this right now, to no one's surprise, and I like this person. I like him a lot, actually. He's been right way more than he has been wrong. Alex Jones. Before the election, he's screaming, the deep state will not let him get elected. Then he got elected. So now he's moved it on. The deep state is turning him into a puppet. So no matter what happens, Alex Jones is always on the edge of freaking out. And when he says things like that, I think he's making people really agitated and making people too worried. We need to, again, calm down and not just lose our minds and expect the worst. Yes, there's going to be battles, and we are going to lose some of them, but let's not be at DEFCON 1 all the time. So people like Alex Jones, we got to just sort of push him back and ignore him. He's the obvious one, but there's more people out there who are a little more subtle about their his crazy ideas, and just push them back and ignore them. Let's focus on what we know. Let's not focus on the rumors. So don't do that. And when it comes to these picks that Trump has, Trump is in a position where he has a very large coalition. He has MAGA. He has the establishment Republicans, libertarians. He has the liberal Democrats. And then he has the people who are essentially just pro-Israel. So their politics besides Israel doesn't really matter. It's all about whether or not Trump is picking somebody that's pro-Israel. So he has a very large coalition, meaning that whoever he picks, somebody in that coalition may not be happy, and they will immediately go on social media and start chirping. So he has to balance all these things out when he picks somebody, and somebody is going to be disappointed in one of those groups. So if whatever group you're in, at some point you're probably going to be disappointed. Expect that. That's being realistic. And also with these confirmations or these picks, they have to go through confirmation, Senate confirmation. As we speak, the Republicans are debating whether it's going to be Thune, Cornyn, or Scott as majority leader in the Senate. And that position has a lot of power, which is why people are very concerned. Cornyn and Thune, those are establishment R's. Those are Mitch McConnell 2.0s. And the problem is certain people will not be able to get past Senate confirmation. I hear a lot of cries out there for people, for Tulsi Gabbard as Secretary of State. Now, the rumor right now is it might be Rubio. We're not sure. So let's not go there. But Tulsi Gabbard will never be confirmed by a Republican Senate. She just became a Republican like 2 weeks ago. And before that, she was a well-known liberal/progressive Democrat who was, I think, deputy head of the DNC. Republicans will never confirm her. And Democrats look at her as a traitor. For them, she is persona non grata. No Democrat will vote for her in the Senate. So anyone out there calling for Tulsi Gabbard to be Secretary of State, it is not happening. RFK Jr., same thing. He will never pass Senate confirmation. And whether you like it or not, the establishment, the deep state, they do have power and they do have a say. So Trump, when he picks people, he has to compromise on some of these picks. Right now in Mar-a-Lago, when he's going through these picks, I guarantee you he has a line to the Senate. And if he picks somebody that the Senate finds that there's somebody they can't deal with, they say, hey, Trump, don't pick him, because if you do, we're not going to confirm that person, and we will embarrass you publicly in that confirmation. So those dealings are happening right now behind the scenes between the Senate and Trump. And so Trump, again, has to compromise at a certain level and pick people that can get those 51 votes. So no Tulsi, no RFK Jr., unfortunately, although hopefully they do have some influence in his administration in other ways. So we'll see. And our system generally does not allow for radical change. The one thing that Barack Obama said that I agree with is that, when you get into power, you don't make that radical change. You just try to move the needle over a little. And unfortunately, whether it's Obama or Trump, that's true. And that's how our system is designed. And so, again, temper expectations, understand how our system is set up with checks and balances so that no one person, no president can go in there, even with the House and the Senate, and just change everything. You can't do it. And I said unfortunate, but maybe that's a good thing. Imagine if an Obama-like figure gets in power again with full control of the House and Senate. What could that person do without checks and balances? So it's actually a good thing, although it can be very frustrating when you're size and power because you want to make all of these changes and you can't. And again, that's probably a good thing, not a bad thing, because things can go way too fast in one direction, and that causes chaos. Also, because of that lack of radical change, expect to be disappointed at some point in time. You will be disappointed at some point in time with Trump and his administration. Expect it. It's going to happen. You never get 100% of what you want, no matter who you support. There's always disagreements. Again, he'll make compromises that you're not going to like because at some level he has to. And again, the system doesn't allow for radical change. And when this happens, don't be an ingrate. Don't start, throwing tomatoes at the guy. Relax. Expect it. Push back where you can. I'm not saying just accept things and don't say anything. No, push back. But do it in a way that is constructive, not destructive, and doesn't hurt his administration. Again, his first term, we saw people who were unhappy with certain decisions, and they turned on him and then spent the rest of the administration attacking him. And it was ugly. It was unnecessary. And a lot of the people who did this were just being self-serving. No names mentioned. Ann Coulter, immigration. She didn't get what she wanted, and then she immediately turned on him and attacked him viciously, openly, and it was unnecessary. And she did it because she's self-serving, she promotes herself, and ultimately she puts herself first, not the country first. So don't be that kind of person. If you're upset with a decision, If you don't like something, push back, encourage him in the right direction. Don't turn on him and be a scumbag and just attack him viciously. So let's not have that happen in the second term. Although, again, I guarantee you there will be people who will do that, unfortunately. Trump can't control everybody, and people are free to do what they want to do, but I hope people don't do that. Now, as far as the people he's picked so far, we got Secretary of State, we have National Security Advisor, and he has picked people who are a bit hawkish, which is what MAGA did not want. Now, what does that mean? Well, it could mean two things. A, he's much more hawkish, Trump, and more aligned with the MIC than we would want, which would be very unfortunate. Or it could be number two, and I think it might be this. He might be surrounding himself with people who are hawks in order to have China, Russia, Iran on edge. He said with Bolton in a recent interview that when Bolton walked in the room with him, Xi and Putin were immediately like, oh no, America wants to go to war with us. And so having Bolton there was a tactic to try to intimidate the people around him or the other countries, which would allow him to negotiate back to a more neutral position. So it might be a tactic for him to, surround himself with these war hawks, but they're on a leash. And ultimately, Trump, as president, would make the decisions. And that honestly would make sense and would be a good tactic. Again, if you're Xi or Putin and you're watching, and Trump surrounds himself with people who are doves, people who are isolationists, who are radical non-interventionists, all around him in his cabinet, at defense, at national, as a NSA advisor, what would that signal to you? You might assume correctly that, hey, they don't want to fight. They want to just back away from everything. What should we do then? We should push forward. So even if you are a non-interventionist, even if you want to stop the wars, it may actually not be wise to surround yourself with people who are doves. It may be better off to surround yourself with people who are hawks and keep them under control. Let the world know that you are ready to go if necessary. So I hope and I think it is the second tactic there, and not that he's just given in to the military-industrial complex and the neocons. I think it's the second one, but again, we'll have to just wait and see what happens. Who knows? I hope I'm right. If I'm wrong, I'll be the first one to come here and say, I got that wrong. Unfortunately, he's going more pro-war, and that sucks. And also with his picks, he has picked people who are very pro-Israel. Huckabee, Stefanik, Rubio, if he's picked, very pro-Israel. And some people I see online are annoyed by that. I'm not anti-Israel. I do have a lot of criticisms of the Netanyahu government. But Trump has always been very pro-Israel. So if this is a surprise to you, you have not been paying attention. He's funded by Marion Adelson. He's given him a lot of money. In his first term, he was very pro-Israel, Abraham Accords, moving the capital to Jerusalem. So this shouldn't be unexpected that he's pro-Israel. And this might sound a little conspiratorial, but I don't think it is. If you're running for president, there are two things that are extremely sensitive that can get you derailed. One is opposing the military-industrial complex, and one is opposing Israel. Now, Trump has taken a lot of shots at the military-industrial complex openly, which is why a lot of neocons hate his guts, like Bill Kristol and Robert Kagan and Victoria Nuland and other people. So if he's going to go against the military-industrial complex, he needs at least one ally, and that is being pro-Israel, and people who are pro-Israel. You cannot be openly against both of those things and ever expect to be president of the United States. It is not happening. If you are openly against Israel and openly against the military-industrial complex, you will get nowhere. You will be buried. The establishment, the deep state, everybody will bury you. So unfortunately, if you're running for president, you sort of have to play ball with Israel, especially if you're going to question the foreign wars and the military-industrial complex. So Trump, very pro-Israel. That's the way it is. If you are, anti-Zionist, or you have problems with Netanyahu, or think the what's going on in Gaza is a genocide, well, it is what it is. Unfortunately, in the modern American politic, you cannot be openly anti-Israel. And it's funny because people think Democrats are sometimes anti-Israel. They're not. Netanyahu has done pretty much whatever he's wanted with Biden and Harris in the White House. They pay lip service because they have a large supporter base who are Muslims in the United States. So Biden and Harris have to sort of pretend to be anti-Israel or question Netanyahu, when in reality, Netanyahu gets what he wants. So we have to temper our expectations as far as pushing back on Israel and the Netanyahu government, unfortunately. Because again, I'm not anti-Israel, but I do question some of the tactics of Netanyahu, and Trump is not going to be the guy to say no to Netanyahu. So I accept that. I take that L. And in the area, again, I'm being realistic and going, I'm not going to win there. But again, you do not get everything you want when you support somebody. You get 70%. Maybe if you're lucky, you get 80%. Maybe if you're really lucky, you get 90%. But you never get 100%. So if you're expecting 100%, again, you're being unrealistic and you're going to be disappointed. So that's my message. Be realistic, temper your expectations, understand how the system works, and be happy with getting a lot of what you want. And where Trump falls short, or where Trump backtracks on a policy, push back in a positive way. Don't be an ingrate, though, and turn this Republican Party, this coalition, into a firing squad where we just, take shots at each other. We can't have that circular firing squad. It's destructive, and it will hurt the administration and our ability to get things done. So be level-headed, be pragmatic, be realistic. That is my message. Well, that's it for now. If you are new to my channel, please like and subscribe, and I will see you next time.